Welcome to Retirement with Ease, a four-part series where we discuss on the important aspects of retirement planning here in Singapore. In episode 2 last week, the consultants shared their insights to proper asset allocation and how to fund our retirement years. For the third episode today, we are going to explore the topic on healthcare management in retirement years. Healthcare, of course, being one of the top concerns of all retirees, is going to be a commonly discussed topic when he or she reaches their golden years. We have Thomas Chia. Morning, Thomas.
Morning, Ryan.
Now, let's talk about you. You bring about a vast pool of wealth experience to your clients, and you specialize in planning for families and retirees, and you complement risk management solutions with retirement strategies aimed at enabling them to reach financial freedom. Thomas, you can start with the first question. What are some of the examples of healthcare expenses during retirement that we should be mindful of?
If you look at healthcare expenses, I would broadly categorize them into three areas. The first one is the small ones, the second one is the big ones, and the third one is the long-term continuous ones. The small expenses would be expenses that require outpatient care, including physiotherapy, including traditional Chinese medicine. For things like when we have accidental slips and falls, or we have a sprain or fractures. Although we might not like it, but if we are not careful, falling down at an advanced age, it could be quite severe and it take a longer time to recover.
So these are expenses that require outpatient care?
Outpatient care, yes. And the second one, the bigger ones, would be expenses that require hospital and surgical care for conditions like major illnesses like stroke, like heart-related diseases, or even cancer treatment. The third one would be long-term care expenses for things like if we have a severe disability due to disability or due to stroke, or loss of independence due to like dementia. If these things happen, we will need extra expenses to hire a caregiver. So these permanent or trained caregiver expenses will be a long-term expenses to take note of. Okay. So I will categorize them in these three areas.
Okay, so three baskets of expenses to look out for. And Thomas, how is the household income accommodating these type of trends these days? What's your observations on whether households can cope with these rising costs?
If you look at the household expenditure survey for 2017/2018, these are statistics taken from Department of Statistics, Singapore, under Ministry of Trade and Industry. They do it every 5 years. So the latest figures you have is 2018. So if you look at the figures, the average monthly household expenditure for a typical household that comprises solely of non-working persons who are above 65 years old. So you're talking about a household expenditure who are non-working and they are in their retirement. So the expenses that they set aside, according to the survey, to put into healthcare expenses is about 12%.
Is that enough? 12%? Seems like a low number.
It seems like a low number. That's why it's average. I would say it's a national average. So some household retirement expenses is a bit more than that figure. Some is lesser than that figure. So it's an average. As a buffer, I would say 15% would be good enough. Yeah, that would be a reasonable buffer to set aside for healthcare expenses.
Okay, healthcare expenses, something to budget for, and you mentioned 15% is a good target to have. And Thomas, what's your observations? Why do you think there's this situation happening where you have people not planning enough for retirement?
It has been overlooked because what I observe is, Singapore nation, we are still young. We are only 56 years old as a nation this year. The retired population 20-30 years ago is smaller than what the retirement population is right now. So as the retired population grows, the importance of retirement planning and healthcare management in retirement planning starts to draw attention only in the recent years. So that is why I feel that it's an area that has been overlooked. Let me give you an example. CPF Life. Last time used to be CPF, and the drawdown is about 20 years. And as the retired population grows, people start to realize that the number of people who outlive their funds gets bigger and bigger. So it's getting more important to have a retirement income that can last a lifetime. That is why CPF Life was introduced in 2009, but that was about 11 years ago, only recent decade.
Life expectancy is going up.
Yes, and MediShield Life. So MediShield Life it was only introduced in 2015. So it used to take care of our medical expenses for hospital and surgical care in our retirement years, and it lasts a lifetime. We have a lifetime claim limit. But that was only introduced in 2015. And 2020, CareShield Life was introduced. That is to take care of our long-term care expenses, also for our retirement. So healthcare management in retirement draws attention and take note in the last 5 or 6 years ago.
I see what you mean. It's something that not a lot of people are used to yet, so they still have to learn what they need to do.
This is good. As a nation, we are going in the right direction. But I still feel that there's 2 areas that's lacking. One area is lasting power of attorney, LPA, and the other area is will writing. Lasting power of attorney, it lets you appoint a donee and to help you to decide on 2 things. One thing is your personal welfare, and the second thing is on your financial matters. In the event that one day I lost my mental capacity, I cannot make decisions for myself. So LPA, how it comes into healthcare management in retirement is very important because it's costly without the LPA. If one day we lose our mental capacity due to dementia or anything, without LPA, who's going to take care of us?
Yes.
So it's costly in that area.
Yeah, there's no point having a plan if you can't execute it, right?
Correct. And second area is will writing. In my 15 years of doing this, I have encountered one early demise of a close family member of a client. This early demise, he passed on without a will. So the whole entire process took about 18 months.
Okay, so you get dragged out without a will.
Yes, and there's some cost involved. So immediately the clients appointed estate administrator. So that cost about 3,000, and then to put up to the court to get a letter of administration, that cost about 4,500, and the entire duration lasts about 18 months. And during these 18 months, the bank account of the demise has been frozen. That means the family members cannot draw out the money from the bank account.
Yeah.
Some families need the money, some families doesn't need. But 18 months is quite a long time. With a will, you can shorten the time much faster.
Yeah, 1.5 years is a very long time to drag things out. So you painted a very clear picture of what things we need to take note of, and there are a lot of surprises around the corner. How do we make sure we minimize all these surprises? What can we do?
Well, the biggest surprise will be if I'm retiring next year, then I look into my bank account, then I realize that I have not enough. So always start early, plan ahead, revisit regularly, and adjust along the way. And look at these 5 things. If you have done up your retirement income, your MediShield Life, get an integrated plan. CareShield Life, get a CareShield Life supplement. Get your LPA done. Get your will done. You can minimize your surprises in your retirement years.
How should one prepare for healthcare expenses in retirement?
I will plan to have 15% more as a buffer and get the 5 things done: your CPF Life, retirement income, integrated plan, CareShield Life supplements, LPA, will. Get these 5 things done and plan ahead and readjust accordingly, and see a good financial planner that understands all these areas and understands what is healthcare management in your retirement and minimize your surprises along the way.
Okay, sounds like a good plan. Thank you so much. Well, there you have it, the 3rd episode of Retirement with Ease, Healthcare Management during Retirement Years.